My name is Captain Lila Moreno, U.S. Air Force, and I'm 34. Last summer I walked into my parents' place in Desert Ridge, Phoenix. Pulse steady, ready to drop 2 pieces of news I thought might finally land. The dining room was buzzing. My parents, my older brother, my sister, same practice smirks, same pecking order. I drew breath to speak. My father's voice cut across the table like a blade. The room went quiet. My mother's mouth tilted into a pleased little smile. My sister's lips curled. Every eye waited for me to fold. I didn't argue. I didn't raise my voice. I let a slow, controlled smile settle in, the kind you wear on a flight line when the wind is trying to take your hat. Their expressions faltered. Without a word, I stood, took my purse, and stepped into the warm Arizona night. That evening I made one decision, simple, precise, and powerful enough to flip the board. None of them were ready for what came next. What about you? Stay silent or fight back? Tell me in the comments. I want to hear your playbook. Growing up in that Desert Ridge house, I was the outlier. My brother Derek, the golden child, shipped code and could do no wrong. My sister Marissa, the crown jewel, closed real estate deals from a glass office downtown. Me, Lila, the middle kid, forever in their shadow. My dad Victor never let me forget the hierarchy. He'd brag about Derek's tech awards or Marissa's million-dollar closings. My work. Logistics admin, cute, my mother Elaine would say, voice sugared with dismissal. When are you getting a real job? I learned to bite my tongue. They didn't see the midnight briefings, the sorties launched on my timelines, the crews who got home safe because a quiet plan held. By 34 I was the operations officer at Luke AFB, the one stitching together moving pieces. Air crews, cargo, airspace, weather, fuel. So missions actually happened. 3 months before that dinner I'd been selected to pin on Major. And I'd said yes to Noah Trent, a history teacher who makes me laugh even when the schedule says I shouldn't have time for it. I was ready to tell them both, promotion and engagement. Hope still knotted my stomach. Family dinners were never just meals. They were stages for my father to toast Derek's latest app or Marissa's newest tower while I played invisible. Funny thing. When the bills got tight, invisibility didn't apply. I covered the mortgage more than once, $1,400 here, $1,400 there, and paid $3,200 toward my dad's heart surgery copay. Nobody asked how an admin job made that possible. They just cashed the help. My grandfather Raphael was the only one who ever really saw me. You're doing too much for them, kid, he'd say during our Sunday calls. I laughed it off. Family sticks together, right? That summer I drove to Desert Ridge with 2 things. My promotion orders tucked in my purse and Noah's ring catching the light. I'd rehearsed the whole speech. The promotion, the engagement, the life I was building. Maybe this time they'd look at me and see someone worth celebrating. Before I even killed the engine, I heard my father through the open window bragging about Derek's new startup. Marissa's laugh followed, sharp, pleased. My mother chimed in about a big court win. I gripped the wheel and let the doubt pass through like turbulence. Would they care about my news, or twist it to make me small again? I'd swallowed years of jabs. Frivolous job. Quiet life. Derek with his tech swagger never asked about my work. Marissa, armored in designer suits, rolled her eyes when I mentioned a mission cycle. And my parents didn't just ignore me, they leaned on me. I'd covered months of their mortgage. I'd wired thousands toward my dad's heart surgery. I'd even helped Marissa finish law school when money ran thin. No thanks. No memory. Just expectation. So I kept hoping. I'd spent the last few weeks building a gift, our family in pages. I pulled old photos from boxes, scanned wedding shots, found Polaroids of us in the backyard. I stayed up late, adding captions, small notes only we'd understand. It wasn't just a present, it was a signal. I value this family even when it doesn't value me. I pictured my mother's face softening. Maybe even a "we're proud of you, Lila," from Victor. Inside, the living room was already loud. My dad stood by the fireplace, gesturing big as he told a neighbor, "Derek's going places." I set the wrapped album on the coffee table and waited for a gap. He didn't glance over. In the kitchen, Elaine and Marissa dissected a luxury condo sale that had put Marissa's name in the business journal. "You're unstoppable," my mother said, beaming. "Hey Mom. I brought something for you and Dad," I said, lifting the gift. "That's nice, Lila. Just set it somewhere," she said, eyes never leaving Marissa. I swallowed the sting and moved to the dining room. Derek was scrolling his phone. Markets or metrics, always numbers. Hey, I made something for the family, want to take a look? Later, he muttered, not looking up. The album felt heavier. I set it on the sideboard and told myself dinner would be different. They'd have to listen. I helped Elaine lay out plates. The conversation kept orbiting my siblings. My father drifted in, still on Derek's trajectory. He's pitching to investors next week, he said, adjusting his glasses. Could be a game changer, my father said, carving chicken like he was signing a contract. Elaine set down a platter. And Marissa closed that condo in under a month, she added, voice bright with awe. That's great, but I've got some news too, I started. Marissa cut me off with a story about a celebrity client. I wrapped my fingers around a fork until my knuckles went white and forced a nod. Stay focused. Remember why you came. The promotion meant I was running major ops cycles. Aircraft, cruise, cargo, weather, airspace. Synchronizing pieces most people never see. And Noah had proposed under a star-salted desert sky, promising a life where I'd never have to feel small to keep the peace. I deserved to share that. But the table kept orbiting Derek's code and Marissa's courtroom wins. Would anything I said survive contact? We sat. Plates clinked. Voices overlapped. The album I'd made for them sat untouched on the sideboard. I took a breath, thumb brushing the ring hidden under the table, and lifted my voice just enough to cut through. Everyone, I have something to tell you. Heads turned. Victor mid-bite. Elaine with her wine glass. Marissa's eyebrow arched. Derek glanced up from his phone. For a second, silence. I was selected for major, I said. And Noah and I. Victor dropped his fork. The sound cracked the room in half. You're the most useless child in this house, Lila, he said, each word knifed with scorn. Shuffling schedules isn't a real career. Why can't you be like Derek or Marissa? Elaine's mouth curved into a smile meant to wound. Marissa laughed in that neat, practiced way. Derek didn't speak, but a grin flickered. The words hit like a slap, years of minimization condensed into a sentence. I could have fought back. I could have listed sorties launched on my timelines, crews that got home safe because a quiet plan held. I could have told them about the nights I spent in ops while they slept, or about the way Noah sees the strength they refuse to see. But their faces said everything. Victor's glare. Elaine's smirk. Marissa's laugh. Something shifted, not anger. Alignment. I smiled. Slow, deliberate. Elaine's smirk wavered. Marissa's laugh thinned. The room went still. I pushed my chair back. The scrape echoed. I stood, picked up my purse and walked for the door. Lila, where are you going? Victor called, confusion edging his voice. I didn't look back. The front door closed behind me with a final clean sound. In the car, the warm Arizona night pressed against the windows. My hands trembled, not from hurt but from a clarity I'd never felt. For years I'd kept their lives afloat. I'd funneled $1,500 a month into their mortgage to keep the bank off their backs. Money taken without a single thank you. That ended now. I pulled out my phone and typed a message to Victor and Elaine. No more transfers. Good luck. No hesitation. Then I powered the phone down and let the screen go dark. They could manage the turbulence they'd created. Driving out of Desert Ridge, my smile held. I wasn't fleeing, I was choosing myself. Noah was home, ready to build a future where I was already enough. The road ahead felt open, finally free of their expectations. I'd carried them long enough. Morning sun slipped through my curtains after a restless night. I reached for my phone. 42 missed calls from Elaine between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. In the middle of the flood, one text from Victor stood out. Please. 3. My stomach didn't twist with guilt, just a calm I recognized from the flight line before a sortie. I tapped a reply. Useless is busy. I paused. They needed the truth on record. I opened the family group chat. Victor, Elaine, Marissa, Derek. Since I'm useless, a quick audit. I've paid $1,500 per month on your mortgage for years. I covered $3,200 for Dad's heart surgery. And Marissa, I fronted $5,000 for your law school when you were short. You're welcome. Final. I flipped do not disturb and started my day feeling lighter than I had in years. By noon my phone lit with Raphael's name. Mija, I saw your message, he said, warm, steady. Good. I'm proud of you for standing up. He didn't stop there. He'd already called Victor and Elaine. You've been bleeding her dry, he told them, voice sharp enough to cut through habits and excuses. She's carried this family while you called her useless. Shame on you. I could picture Elaine scrambling for words, Victor mumbling defenses that wouldn't hold. Raphael wasn't done. Figure out how to live without her money, he said and hung up. Thank you, I told him, voice catching. You don't owe them anything, Lila, he said. Keep shining. Back at Desert Ridge, the fuse burned fast. Elaine paced the kitchen, calling Victor on repeat. How are we supposed to pay the mortgage now? Hands shaking. You think I know? He snapped. She can't just cut us off. Marissa, usually bulletproof, went quiet. Law school suddenly not a solo victory. Derek stared at his screen, rereading the numbers. 5,000. Marissa managed. She never told me, Derek said. She didn't tell any of us, he added, softer. The realization hit. I'd been their safety net and they'd mocked me for it. Voices rose. Elaine blamed Victor. You called her useless. Victor shot back. You laughed. Marissa turned on Derek. Derek turned red. The image they'd built of me as the family's failure cracked under a few lines of truth. I didn't see the fight. Raphael filled me in later, the barest hint of satisfaction in his voice. They're tearing each other apart. I didn't gloat. I felt steady. Grounded. My message hadn't been a tantrum. It was a line in the sand. I'd spent years propping them up. I was done being invisible. I sipped my coffee and thought about Noah, about the life we were building. Whatever storm was brewing in Desert Ridge belonged to them now. 3 weeks later, I was at my desk mapping a corporate airlift timeline. Gala logistics on one screen, airspace deconfliction on another, when my phone buzzed. Noah, you okay? He knew I'd been dodging calls from Desert Ridge. I hadn't spoken to my family since the night I walked out. My boundaries were set. I meant to keep them. Meanwhile, reality was landing hard at my parents' house. A certified letter arrived. Bold red stamp. Final notice of foreclosure. Victor ripped it open, hands shaking. Without my $1,500 a month, they'd missed 2 payments. The bank was done waiting. Elaine clutched the letter. We need to call Lila, she said, dialing my number for the 100th time. Straight to voicemail. Do not disturb still on. Victor paced, muttering about selling his car, pride bruised by a math problem he didn't know how to solve. They'd leaned on me for years, never imagining I'd actually stop. Marissa was wobbling too. Her reputation had always been louder than her cash flow. A major condo deal fell through. Without the extra cushion I'd quietly fronted in the past, she couldn't cover the upfronts. The client walked. Investors got jumpy. He spent hours on the phone begging for time. I just need a little more runway, she pleaded. Doors kept closing. Derek wasn't faring better. His startup, once a victory lap in waiting, was sinking under debt. To keep the lights on, he took an overnight shift at a data center. The swagger disappeared, replaced by dark circles and silence. He'd assumed my support was bottomless. Now loan payments were due and the edge was getting close. The breaking point came on a family group call Raphael forced. He'd had enough of the excuses. Everyone on: Victor, Elaine, Marissa, Derek. Not me. I wouldn't have answered anyway. You lost Lila because of your arrogance, Raphael said, voice steady and cutting. She paid your bills. Kept your house. And you called her useless. You're reaping what you sowed. Victor tried the family loyalty speech. Raphael cut him off. Loyalty? You don't get to use that word. Elaine's voice wavered. She didn't realize. Raphael wasn't buying it. He knew. Fix your own mess. The call detonated. Marissa accused Victor of driving me away. You always favored Derek. Derek snapped back. You took her money too. Elaine tried to mediate. Her voice cracked as she admitted they couldn't afford the house without me. Red-faced, Victor barked for silence. No one complied. Raphael hung up, then later told me it was the loudest call he'd ever endured, and he didn't regret a word. I stayed out of it. I ignored the voicemails from Elaine, the texts from Marissa asking to talk. I'd bent over backward for years only to be dismissed. Now my focus was my life. A career that was thriving, new clients, and an engagement to a man who told me every day I was enough. My boundaries weren't a line, they were a wall. I wasn't tearing it down. Months passed. I stood in the empty living room of our new place, A cozy two-bedroom in Scottsdale, fresh paint still in the air. Noah was outside unloading boxes from the truck. The quiet felt earned. Noah's laughter echoed from the driveway as he joked with the movers. My phone, once a siren of frantic family calls, was quiet. I'd blocked Victor, Elaine, Marissa, and Derek weeks ago. Their voicemails and texts were artifacts I no longer carried. For the first time, my life felt like my own. No weight, no judgment, no running tally. At work, I'd just been named Director of Operations for our squadron at Luke AFB. A role earned the old-fashioned way. Late nights, tight timelines, zero-fail missions. My team looked to me to set the plan and hold the line, from humanitarian airlifts to large-scale joint exercises. The billet came with a pay bump and steady wage. Between that and discipline saving, the down payment on our place was easy. Noah and I had hunted houses for weeks, sketching a future that looked like us. We found it. A sunny corner lot in Scottsdale with a small backyard. Quiet evenings now, room for more someday. I stacked books on a shelf and caught my reflection in the window. Smiling for real, not the careful smile I used to wear at Desert Ridge. The only thread to my old life was Raphael. He didn't call much, hands shake too much now, but his letters arrived every few weeks, handwritten on crisp stationery. You're doing right by yourself, Lila, he wrote in the latest one. I always saw your strength even when they didn't. Keep going. I keep his letters in a wooden box on my desk. Proof someone in my bloodline believed in me. I write back with the good pieces. The new billet, the house, Noah's proposal under desert stars. His replies are short, warm, always ending the same. I'm proud of you, kid. Desert Ridge is a distant shore. I don't know if they lost the house, if Marissa patched her business, if Derek is still running on fumes at a night shift. I don't check. Raphael never mentions them, and I'm grateful. Their chaos isn't my responsibility anymore. I spent years pouring time and money into lives that called me useless. Now every dollar I earn, every hour I live, is for me and for us. Noah and I are planning a small wedding with friends who see who I am, not who I'm not. Sometimes late I think about the past, not with regret but clarity. I gave everything. In return I got criticism. Cutting them off wasn't just about money, it was about worth reclaimed. I built a career I love, a home with the man I'll marry, a life that feels full. The weight of their dismissal is gone. In its place, a steadiness I didn't know was possible. I stepped outside into the sun. Arizona heat on my face. Noah glanced over a stack of boxes and grinned. Welcome home, Major, he said. Home, I answered and meant it. He handed me a box labeled kitchen, grinning as he teased my terrible packing game. I laughed and shoulder-checked him, and for a moment the world was just us. Our new home, our new life. Raphael's latest letter sat on the counter, a quiet anchor to the sliver of family I chose to keep. The rest I'd released. My days were full. I was ready for whatever came next. Our wedding day arrived. Scottsdale backyard, desert light turning gold across the fence line. I stood in a simple white dress. Noah waited at a makeshift altar under twinkle lights, steady smile, steady man. Raphael sat in the front row, eyes damp, pride unshakable, the only relative I'd invited. Victor, Elaine, Marissa, Derek weren't there, not because I wavered but because I didn't. This day was for us, not for their shadows. I walked down the flagstone, bouquet of wildflowers in my hand, feeling weightless in a way I'd never known. Lila, Noah whispered when I reached him. You're everything. I squeezed his hand, heart full. You look beautiful, kid, Raphael called, voice warm and worn, carrying over the low music. We kept it simple, vows we wrote ourselves. Partnership. Respect. No trace of the past we'd left behind. Our friends cheered when we kissed. Bright, unburdened. For the first time I wasn't proving anything to anyone. I was just living. Later word reached me through a mutual friend about Desert Ridge. Victor and Elaine lost the house, downsizing to a cramped apartment on the edge of Phoenix after foreclosure. Marissa's shine dimmed, deals she couldn't fund, clients stepping back, her once gilded name passed around as a caution. Derek kept grinding nights at a data center, startup debt chewing through the edges of his dream. I didn't feel triumph, just a quiet acknowledgement. Choices have outcomes. I'd learned something they hadn't. Loving yourself means drawing a line. For years I poured time, money, and heart into a family that called me useless. I covered mortgages, medical bills, tuition, and got mockery in return. Walking away wasn't cruelty. It was self-respect. Every step since, major pinned, ops humming a home with Noah real peace, came from that decision. I wasn't running from them. I was running toward myself. Raphael's presence at the wedding reminded me what family can be. Someone who sees your worth and celebrates it without conditions. His letters still arrive every few weeks, short, warm, ending the same way. I'm proud of you, kid. They're proof love doesn't need to hurt. I danced with Noah under a sky full of stars and felt a truth settle in my bones. Happiness begins when you stop begging for approval and start building a life that's yours. If you felt unseen or dismissed by the people who should have lifted you, know this. You can choose yourself. Say no. Walk away. Build something you're proud of. Tell me your story in the comments. Where did you draw the line and how did you reclaim your life?